Building a sustainable, healthy eating plan that will help you reverse prediabetes. Step number 4, eat sufficient vegetables and fruits. You know, when I was a kid, I grew up in California, and the house that I lived in until I was 7 years old had 3 fruit trees in the backyard. We had an apple tree, a plum tree, and a loquat tree. You might need to go look that one up. But my mom tells me the plum tree was my favorite. And she says that when I was about 3 years old, I used to love to walk out in the backyard, and I would just reach my little hand up and feel the low-hanging plums. I would give them a squeeze. And if they were ripe enough to eat, I would pluck them and help myself. If not, I would leave them on the tree for another day. And to this day, I've had a love of fruit my whole life. I never struggle to be able to get enough fruit into my own personal diet, my own personal eating plan. Vegetables, for me, a different story. I have to work on that side of the equation. So we are talking about step number 4, eat sufficient vegetables and fruits. If you recall, step number 1, eat sufficient protein. Step number 2, eat sufficient fiber. Step number 3, elevate food quality. We're building through 5 steps that are going to help you have the tools that you need to go from wherever you are at any point and be able to pick a target that you can nudge or upgrade to make an improvement in your nutrition. So people would ask, why vegetables and fruits? Why are these important? Well, here are a couple reasons that you can think about. Number 1 is they're a great source of fiber, right? We talked about fiber in step number 2. Lots of vegetables and lots of fruits are a great source of fiber. Number 2, they have lots of vitamins and minerals, right? We think about things like vitamin A or vitamin C or magnesium, things that we don't necessarily get enough of in our diet. And then the third thing that I want to tell you is that there are, in vegetables and fruits, these things called phytochemicals or polyphenols. They're these little tiny molecules. They go by lots of different names, but flavonoids, carotenoids, anthocyanins, they go by lots of different names. But these little small molecules do wonderful things inside our body to help reduce inflammation and this thing called oxidative stress that creates damage inside our bodies, damage to blood vessels that can lead to heart disease or stroke or dementia. They have things that help us produce energy. They have little molecules that help us improve our immune system and fight off infection or fight cancer. They're wonderful little molecules. In fact, I was just looking up, and I have a link down below that you can check if you are curious about the wonderful raspberry. It's a very long article. Please don't feel like you need to read the whole thing. But it's just for your interest. Whole scientific article about all the wonderful things that raspberries do. They have this type of chemical called anthocyanin. It's what gives them their red color. And they have all kinds of benefits to help actually make your body more sensitive to insulin, to reduce the risk of things like heart disease and obesity and diabetes and Alzheimer's. So if you're really curious about the raspberry, go read that down below. But that's why vegetables and fruits are so important. We want all these chemicals that our body is designed to run with, designed to work well with. We want them inside our body. So how much do you need? Think 6 or 8 servings, somewhere in that range of vegetable and fruit servings per day. 6 to 8. Make sure you're not neglecting the vegetables. So vegetables probably should be at least half of those. And if you're not at 6 to 8, don't worry. You don't have to go from 1 or 2 or wherever you are to 6 or 8. Remember the nudge or upgrade. If you're at 3 and you get to 5, that is going to be an upgrade for you. So just continue to work on it and nudge or upgrade up. You might need to learn some new vegetable recipes to be able to get some variety in or experiment to see what you like. But 6 or 8 per day. And final question for today, you might be saying, can I really eat fruit? Fruit has sugar. I'm pre-diabetic. Can I really eat fruit? And it's interesting that the answer is yes. We're going to be talking next week about carbohydrate tolerance. So you don't want to eat so much at one time that you end up spiking your blood sugar up. And we're going to talk about how to determine your own carbohydrate tolerance and how much you can eat. But what we know is that fruit can be part of a healthy nutrition plan if you want it to be part of yours. So it can be part of a healthy nutrition plan. There's something about having the fruit, especially, that has the water and the fiber that slows down the blood sugar. So eating the same amount of carbohydrate in an orange or in a cup of orange juice, the orange is going to win out by far. So you want that whole fruit, you want that water, you want that fiber to be there. But fruit can be a part of healthy nutrition plan. So Hey, that's going to wrap up for today. Work on your vegetables and fruits. Post down below if you have any questions or comments or a favorite fruit that you like. You know, my son and I went to Seattle not terribly long ago, and we asked the guy at the fruit place to give us a fruit that we never had before, and I had a mangosteen. Look that one up too, loquat and mangosteen. The mangosteen was quite delicious, I have to say. So experiment, try some new things, get the vegetables and fruits in. Next week we'll be back to talk about carbohydrate tolerance, one of my favorite topics and one of the most misunderstood topics that's out there, and it underlies so much about why people argue about whether you can eat a sweet potato. Anyway, talking about that next week. Until then, I wish you peace. Take care.